My name's Bambi and I am currently in the third year and have just started my dissertation proposal for the Interprofessional Educational Leadership Program at Kent State University. I chose an online program because I wanted the flexibility to be able to study from anywhere and travel while I was still doing my program. I wanted to be able to be in any part of the world and be able to log on and get some schoolwork done, or in an airport waiting for an airplane. And I'm just one of those people that when I'm studying and I'm really into something, it might keep me awake at night. So I wanted to be able to log on to my computer at 2 a.m. and do some work or do some studying and reading. And I just felt like an online program was really a great fit for my lifestyle. And prior to experiencing COVID and teaching from face to face, and then when COVID hit, we made this big shift to online. I would not have felt that same way, but I've recognized that flexibility through teaching online. And so as a student, I thought, well, that'd be perfect flexibility. So in 2021, I decided, well, let's give it a shot. I don't know, I can teach online. Maybe I can learn online too. And it's really worked out great. Kent State University was my choice for my doctoral program because first, I'm on faculty there. So I'm an adjunct professor at Kent State University in the Career and Technical Education Department. And I thought, I work up there. I love it up there as an employee. And I also got my undergrad and my master's there. So it was just kind of a thing where Kent State feels like home to me. My granddad worked at the bookstore when I was growing up. So as a little kid, we'd go up and visit him. And it just really felt like it was a good fit all the way through. This online program was the one that stuck out among all the other possibilities for the online doctoral programs that I was looking at Kent because it was more of an addition to what I was already doing. So currently, I'm a special education teacher in Canton, and I have my undergrad in special education, and then my master's was in career tech education. And I felt like I could do an online program in special ed or in administration, but this was something that I didn't have in my wheelhouse. And I really felt like this would help me grow as a professional. So I didn't want to redo special ed. I wanted something that was a little bit different from my previous degrees. Being online helped me a lot in the sense that I could do it at any time. It was really flexible with my schedule, but I could also really set the pace for myself. So if there was an area that I was super confident and comfortable in as far as content, then could choose to spend less time on it. And then if there was areas that I was like, oh, I really don't understand this, I really need to stop and reread it or dig deeper, or maybe take an extra week when I was planning out like my own pacing, that online piece really helped me be able to fit what I needed as a learner and be able to fill in the gaps where I needed or jump over some things that I felt really confident with. Three words that describe this program for me are going to be intensity, organization, and versatile. Intensity because cramming a doctoral degree into 3 years, there's just no other way to say it's intense. You are going at light speed all of the time, which is really great because that sounds kind of intimidating, but it's great because you don't lose that momentum. And organized. This program has been so organized and so easy to navigate and walk through, from the program as a whole, with the department heads kind of guiding you through step by step, as well as the professors that teach all the courses that were part of this program. They were very uniform in how things were split out on our online learning platform. I just think that the success for me really had a lot to do with the fact that it was organized. I knew where to look to get my assignments. I knew where to look to get help if I needed it. I knew when meetings were coming up. It was just a really great piece of the program. I can't imagine doing this program if it wasn't this organized. And then versatility. The topics of this program were about the leadership and about different types of research, whether I'm teaching at a high school or at a higher education institution, or whether I'm in the business world and working at like Amazon or Google. These leadership skills that I'm being taught and that I'm exploring in this program will be useful. So the versatility of it was so nice because I went into this program thinking it was literally about just leading in education, and it really could be applied to any career path that you're in. After I graduate with this degree, I don't think I want to change a whole lot of anything. I initially got into this degree because it has always been a dream of mine to get my doctoral degree. Initially, I was thinking I wanted a PhD. And when I started looking at different options online and what the difference was between a PhD and an EDD, I was like, oh, that doesn't even make sense. I'm definitely a person that wants to stay in the field and teaching. So this doctoral degree that's in education, that's a doctoral degree of practice. My dissertation is going to be a dissertation in practice rather than a research or a philosophy of education. It just made certain like perfect sense to be actually staying in the field. So I don't know that I want to change anything. I love my job and I love what I do. I think I'll be a better professional because of this degree. And maybe it'll open doors that you just didn't see coming. But I definitely have no intention of saying, oh, I'm going to go for this different job. This just wasn't part of my mission. So after I get this piece done and I graduate, I'm going to sit back and say, yay, I made my goal. And now I'm a better professional and go on about my life and breathe a little bit. I really liked that this program was so organized and that it was all compacted into the 3-year time span. I didn't want something that was going to drag on for 10 years. Wanted something that would just be keep your head down and get through it. And no, doing that, I was a little nervous also, but the staff and the faculty are all so supportive. So when you need help and you need help from the library to find some materials, or you need help at the writing center, everybody is just so willing to help. And I also really liked that this program gave me a lot of words about things that I knew that I didn't know what they were called. Like I didn't know what moral entrepreneurship was, but I knew there was a name and I knew there was a thing for people that wanted to change other people's lives for the better. And that might be going against the grain of the rest of the people that they worked with. And, in life, you learn as a professional, you see different things and you don't really know how to put words to them or how to articulate them or how to support your own thoughts and your own experience with research-based words. And this program really helped me do that. So when I say I'm getting to be a better professional, I love that about this program because now I can sit down at my boss's desk and say, hey, let's propose that we do this. And here's X, Y, and Z, why I think it's important. And here's ABC, what we should be doing. And here's some ideas how to get started. So this really helped me to articulate what I felt like I needed to do to grow in my own career and just be better at what I do on the daily basis. So I am a special ed teacher most of the day, but the other piece of what I do is I'm a job training coordinator and I'm a career and technical teacher team leader. Okay, so this program has helped me be a better professional and reach more goals that I had set for myself by giving me an idea of who I was as a leader and how to take that knowledge and apply it to other people around me with my colleagues. So as a first thing I had to do with this program is learn what it meant for me to be a leader. I had no idea there was these leadership style assessments and there's words to them and there's certain kinds of leaders and that there's all this research behind what leadership is. So to be able to read all of that and finally as I'm reading some of the things that were in this program, I'm like, wow, that's totally me, or ooh, that's not me at all. And it explained why I do some of the things I do as a leader. And that made me such a stronger, better professional. And it made me aware of how I react to other professionals. And I didn't see that coming at all. It was one of the great unexpected pieces that came out of this program. So before entering this program, I had taught as a special education teacher for 20 years. 11 of those years, I was both special education and career technical education. So nothing has changed as far as what I was doing before I entered this program. I would absolutely recommend this program and Kent to any of my friends or colleagues or family that are looking to further their own education because Kent has always been so supportive and they really are just a great cheerleader for their students. The professors are always so willing to meet and guide you through and entertain questions. And the fact that so many of my professors were like, well, this is an online program, but if you live in the area and need to meet face to face, they were completely willing to do that. That was really helpful. And I've never felt like I couldn't turn to someone and ask a question or like I was completely lost. I always had a place to go and ask questions. So when I didn't understand something, I wasn't sitting here saying, oh my gosh, I got to figure this out on my own. I always knew there was somebody that I could ask to set me in the right direction. The application process I thought was really important because when I was filling out the application, there is a piece that you have to write with your application. And it's like why you want to be in the program and what are your beliefs about why this program is important to you. And I thought that was such an important kind of precursor to be like, are you sure you really want to do this? It really gave you a chance to look inside yourself. And it also helped you when you were kind of thinking through the questions that they were going to ask you in an interview. So I sat in my office at home one day and met the three people on my interview panel on a screen. And I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. I've never done an online interview before, but they were just so awesome. And the questions that they asked were so interesting. And it was just a great conversation about how the program is going to be a fit for me or not. And then for the next, I don't know, 45 days, I think I paced the floor back and forth and kept checking my email all the time. And did I get it? Did I get it? Am I in? And then when I finally got that email, I remember it was on a Friday. And I came home and I called my dad and I said, Dad, I can't open this email because I don't want my weekend to be ruined. So I went over to his house Sunday night and said, oh my gosh, I got in. So it was a little bit of a roller coaster because you were a little anxious because it's something that I wanted so bad. But I thought that the ease of the application process itself, as far as filling out forms and getting your FAFSA submitted and working with, at that time, the people I was interviewing with and filling out the application for were just blank, names on a piece of paper or in an email string. So considering I didn't have any idea of who I was going to be working with other than the name, it was super easy. So the contact that I've had with my advisor and our program coordinators has been so wonderful and so helpful. My dissertation advisor right now has actually been my advisor for the whole process, which has been really great. And I'm not sure that it's like that for every student as far as they have the same consistent person all the way through. But that piece of it has been really awesome. Dr. Walton Facette has just been a great guiding light, and I feel like I can email her and ask any question, no matter how small or silly or detailed it is. She's always gotten back to me right away. The program coordinators have been incredible. They set up meetings at different time intervals, like especially when important things are coming up. Like when our portfolios were being put together, they had a lot of online meetings, and they're not required, they're optional, and then they're recorded and sent out. So there have been some that, I had something to do for work or I was traveling and couldn't log on to actually see the video, but they still make sure that you get that information. But they also make it a point to make sure that they are online at different intervals to make sure that it's not just emails being sent out. And that's really helped a lot. And like I said, the ability to just email and ask a question and feel completely welcome and open to do that has been such a help for us all. My sense of connection to the faculty at Kent State for this program has been so awesome because they really leave it up to what the student needs. So there's been some classes that honestly, the only interaction that I had was because I was getting a grade back and getting my professor's feedback. And then there has been other classes that I'm like, wow, I need a little bit extra support, or wow, I'm super interested in this topic and want to know more. It's going to be really useful for my dissertation. So it really goes by like student need and interest. And a lot of our professors are like, hey, we're going to meet on Monday night to talk about X, Y, and Z. If you'd like to hop on, that's great. And they're completely understanding if you're like, oh, I can't, I have parent-teacher conferences, or my child has this recital that I have to get to. So I really like that they understand that we have, 40 other things going in our life and are really flexible and willing to meet with us as needed. And the others, so the colleagues that are in my cohort have been just super awesome, which I think is something that is so important. So we do a lot of discussion boards, and you get to know different people through the discussion boards that you do in the classes, and that's super cool. And you get to know what their focus is for their dissertation, and you really learn a lot. And in that process, you end up learning about content that maybe you never would have had interaction with. So we have some students in my cohort that are, for example, physical therapists. And I never thought like physical therapy and educational leadership would go together, but I've learned a lot about their content, and it gives me a different focus and a different perspective what educational leadership actually means. So some other things that might just be important for anybody that's looking at this program is that really it's important that before you decide to do this, that you know a lot about yourself and make sure that you're self-driven, because there's nobody, at home saying, hey, you should get online and do your homework tonight. Kind of takes me back to those early college years where you're like, I'll get it done next week. I'll get it done tomorrow. And then you're up at 4 a.m. before you go to work trying to get your assignments done. This program is not that. There is no time for procrastination. You really have to be just self-driven and super organized. They do such a great job of organizing this program, and all the professors make their courses so great and easy to navigate. But it's super important that if you're going to do this, that you have a method and a way that you're going to commit to organizing your own stuff. Because there was times when I would read a couple hundred pages a week from 5 or 6 different sources for 2 different classes. So I had to know where things were and where I was highlighting things and where my citations were and have it all in order, so I'd be ready to pump out that next paper. And this program was really great, though, because while you're doing all of that, you're also able to work ahead. So there was some times where I'm like, okay, for the next 2 weeks, I know I'm going to be gone. So I would be able to work far enough in advance. So I'd have 3 weeks of work done. I'd go for 2 weeks. I'd come back and I'd still have a whole nother week that I could continue to get ahead and work. So it's so important to stay ahead in this program and just stay organized. And don't hesitate to ask for online questions with your professors. They're super great about meeting and explaining things. And I just would encourage that if you decide to do this program, that you make connections with your cohorts and your classmates, because we have a group that kind of meets every month. And we all sit down in the evenings and talk about, oh, here's what I'm doing for my dissertation. Here's what I'm coming up with my proposal. Or, oh, this assignment was so hard. Can you help me? And it was just so nice to have those connections. Two of the people that I meet with are here in Ohio. We have a group of 5 of us, and there's 2 other ones in Ohio and myself. And then there's one in Montana and one in Rhode Island. So that was just a super cool, unexpected piece of the program too, that, you get into this and I was like, wow, I was accepted into this program. And this was a program that anyone in the country could have been a part of. And I was part of the ones that was selected to be in that. So feel good about that and get excited to build those relationships, because they really help you through the program when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't possibly do this, or, oh, I really cannot read another 100 pages this week. What was I thinking? That was real important. And somebody gave me that advice when I first started the program. I'm like, I don't need those like other people. I can do this on my own. I wanted to do online so I didn't have to work with anyone else. And it really helped. So if you're looking at this program, definitely highly recommend it, and make some friends, because you'll be surprised how helpful it is.